why don't you let it be? Still water run deep. Yes, it do. I know that. Oh, yeah. If you only believe.
By you being human, being an extension of God's source or whatever you want to call it, by you being an extension of that, that's where your rights come from. So you being the highest order, being next to God, you as man, you created government. So government comes underneath man. And then as the government, they create laws. So at the highest form, man is the highest thing here on this earth. So that's where you get your freedom from, not from any written law or anything like that. But so they're using things like ISIS, and I can't even really speak on ISIS. I think that's funny because I don't even know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They get you so caught up in the technologies and watching the TVs, and I guess that would go back to that propaganda. Propaganda, is a systematic or deliberate widespread of information or ideas, rumors to help harm a group or a movement or et cetera. They're putting out information based on an agenda, and they have techniques and propaganda because I want to, I don't really want to get into all the are they or are they not, because if you're focusing on that, it's going to make you sick. That'll make you sick focusing on that much negativity. So I think techniques, you need to know the techniques of propaganda so you can recognize them and then act accordingly. And that kind of got me into, I wanted to know what propaganda was and what techniques are. And I Googled that, and, the propaganda techniques that are common are name-calling, terrorist, name-calling. Another one is glittering generalities, in which they label the subject with positive terms and words in order to win the approval. Oh, he's, great. He's smart. Things like that without giving any actual facts behind it. They use transfer technique, which carries positive symbols like the flag behind you, things that, get you feeling emotional. And to gain the people's approval, they use the testimonials of people, by getting Warren Buffett or somebody that's celebrity to endorse what they're talking about. They use the plain folks, the old Joe the plumber. That's all propaganda techniques. Card stacking, in which they get on like Fox Television, in which they start to tell a story and they only give you half the facts, to get you enraged. And that bandwagon is also another technique in which they use, in which they're persuading others to follow the crowd. Go to Ferguson and act this way. You go act this way. You go act this way. So, once you realize that they're using these techniques against you, you're going to have to identify, well, damn, okay, I done put a lot of energy into this, and now I realize that this is propaganda. What do I do? And that goes all the way back to what this show is really all about. This is a grassroots organization about raising up alpha males right here in America. Right. And that goes back to, you got to cut that. You got to cut that shit off, man. When it come down to it, man, you got to cut that television off because I don't even know who ISIS is, so I don't get emotional about that at all. I have no emotion toward that at all in real living time because my TV doesn't ever focus on that. At the time that you're watching something about ISIS, you could be focusing on yourself, reading some book or Googling something that interests you to help further your agenda. I promise the people that if you cut that technology off for 30 days and get that out of your system, that will change your paradigm tremendously. Get back to the basics, to the breathing and doing things for self and your family. Stop worrying about what things are going on outside of yourself. And I'm going to turn that back. I've been rambling a little bit, and I want to turn that back over to you to see what you think about that, and we're going to keep this bouncing a little bit.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that is an awesome way to keep your whole paradigm clean, to keep yourself focused on what you need to be doing, because you do have to realize that, you know, it is somebody else's agenda. And like you said, if you're spending all the time watching the programming, then you're going to be programmed, and then you're not going to be focused on the blessings that are in front of you. And one way to expand that sphere of blessings is to be grateful for it. And anything that you worry about all the time, I'm worried about ISIS is going to cut my head off, then all you do is you just attract more negative energy like that. And definitely, I think we definitely need to start getting into that with our conversation and creating techniques to help people see through this. At the same time, you know, there are a lot of people who may not be as advanced, or they may be exposed to this kind of negative stuff all the time, and you just made it plain and simple for them, you know, to walk away from it and not to look at it, which it may not be the most exciting idea, but it's the basic win technique. It's the basic slam dunk. It's the easy slam dunk. It's the layup. You know, it's the layup. My question is, huh?
Go ahead. Finish.
The question that is kind of sticking in me is who is putting out this propaganda? Why are they putting out this propaganda? What is their agenda? For instance, say you do raise your paradigm to a level, and this is kind of a double-parted question. If you do raise your paradigm to a level, because this is exactly what Dr. York said. He said they're going to destroy themselves, or even Moses, come out of her, my people, which is the basic technique. You got, you know, right. Come out of her, my people, lest you be part of her destruction. So I guess right. If we're looking at it from a bird's eye view, once you come out of her, you're going to then be watching the fall of this so-called civilization, you know, right. Or I don't know, is it really going to fall? Is it, I mean, you got more graphic stuff on TV than ever, more graphic stuff on the internet than ever. So there's a generation of people who are being exposed to this who will not maybe be exposed to Farrakhan because they're going to think Islam is some kind of, you know, they ain't going to dare pick up the Quran. There's probably some 14-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids. Like I said, when this Aerodome came out, we was 14, 15. We seen Chuck D, you know, I'm a follower of Farrakhan. Then we seen Professor Griffin, everyone, at least me, myself. That made me say, I might open up a Quran. You know what I'm saying? But now, this generation right here, they're not going to open up a Quran. They're not going to open up the Quran because, well, some might, but some are not because they don't want to be affiliated with ISIS. And those who do, they may come under fire. I know you haven't really been following the ISIS, but there's a couple.
I'm listening to what you're saying, and I feel that very strong in what you're saying. That's a great point. And what can we do about that? That's a great question because is Islam needed right now still? Let me ask that question.
We're going to talk about it on the advanced level. Nah, Islam is not needed. Christianity is not needed. But they are gateways into higher understanding of spiritual principles. Is it needed for someone just starting out? Yeah. There's nothing stronger than the 120 lessons. You know what I'm saying? 1 is knowledge, 2 is wisdom, 3 is understanding, 4 is culture. You can get so much information on. You can pull so many jewels out of yourself just by sitting down and writing with those numbers and then applying those principles, knowledge, wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So knowledge plus knowledge, then that's wisdom. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So if I make a mistake one time, that was knowledge. But if the same thing come up to me again, +1, now I'm at wisdom. Okay, so then I shouldn't make that same mistake again. So I take wisdom plus the knowledge that I shouldn't make that mistake again. Now I understand this situation. You know what I'm saying? Now that I can understand the situation and I add knowledge to it again, now that's my culture because I know what's true. You know what I'm saying? That's my culture. And see, it gives you that. So it is needed on the basic level so that you can grow to even higher levels. Yes, it is needed. Now, we've been putting our heads to the grindstone for years. So right now, is any type of religion needed right now? Nah. Man doesn't need religion. Just like you don't, like Bobby Hemming said, you don't see tigers out in the wild reading books on how to be tigers. They just tigers. You know what I'm saying?
That goes back to the same principle I was saying in the beginning, even about the government. You know, man comes first, then man creates the religion, just as man creates the government. So, I mean, let's stop playing with them. You know, you can use religion, like you said, because to get to this vibration, I feel, where I'm vibrating with my true self most of the time. I started because I seen things that were wrong in the world, and it made me pick up a Bible and read that for myself from cover to cover. And that was where I realized, okay, well, the things I just read just now ain't consistent in what's going on with really the government. That's when I first realized I don't think I'm going to be putting my trust into what these people are saying, because based on what I just read right here, they're doing everything opposite of what's going on. So, going back to the bombings and that propaganda, I guess that's why I turned off the TV. And Ice Cube them had been told us to turn off the radio way, way, way back then. So I was listening to that. And, that gets me to the point now, I don't really trust anything that's going on. And, that's a sad perspective, I guess you would say. Some might think, I don't really trust things that are coming off the major television source, because they've been proven to be liars over and over. I don't have to do, you can Google that. And Google will show you so many things they've lied about on TV. Right now, Cheney and that Bush and Cheney and the boys, they've already been convicted of war crimes, and they still run around throwing pictures at first games and stuff like it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? But we worried about Ray Rice. So I learned way back then not to trust that stuff they're talking about. And, religion, if you need that and you're there, don't be afraid to, keep that at home. Like Malcolm said, one thing, you keep that at home, because what's going on between you and your God is a personal thing. And I would tell all young men and women out there, all religions have something that you can get something out of. But I'm going to tell you, since we're talking about being